Hi, I'm Craig McCormick. I'm the web editor for Security Sales and Integration. I'm joined today by Todd Keller. He's the CEO and owner of Speco Technologies. Hey, Todd, how you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me on and looking forward to having a conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me today. And we're going to talk about primarily the video surveillance market. Why don't you start by telling the folks a little bit about Speco Technologies, what you guys do as a whole, how long you've been around, that sort of thing.
Great. Well, thank you again. We're very fortunate. The company's been around since 1959. I am the proverbial second generation of the organization. We are one of the last of the privately held CCTV suppliers that service the commercial/residential marketplaces. And, unfortunately, crime does pay. And we have a very large responsibility to make sure that we provide products and solutions that meet today's demanding needs. And very honestly, the industry is going through a major change with advancements in technology, the advancements of different artificial intelligence, and being able to get a little bit more granular when there is particular issues and problems. The ability to have not just a witness, but designed about deterrences and more user-friendly interactive devices. So I could share a little bit about the directions that we're going in, or did you have some questions for me?
Yeah, I want to ask you specifically when it comes to video surveillance, do you guys have a particular product line or particular product or product lines that you have, in that space in particular?
So one of the most important aspects is the full range of solutions that we provide, whether it's analytics, whether it's analog, whether it's IP, whether it's cloud, there are so many advancements that are starting to occur within this marketplace. And, as we keep advancing with greater clarity and greater ability to zoom in on products with historically what started off as a 2 megapixel is now a 4 megapixel, is now an 8 megapixel, and then we keep expanding to 16, and we keep getting in more and more feature sets that really help identify issues, problems, and concerns. As we start getting into learning AI, we could start detecting patterns and problems and different solutions that exist out in the marketplace today.
Okay, and when you make these updates and changes and add these features, is it primarily driven by integrator demand, requests for, I would really like this in your cameras and that sort of thing, or is it something that where you guys are innovating something and saying, well, geez, I hope the marketplace is ready for this type of thing?
No, candidly speaking, it's D, all of the above. When we look at some of the horrific events that occur, and one of the things that motivate us, situations like Uvalde, Texas, and in our minds, we say, how could we stop something like that from occurring? And the reality is, in some cases, we can't. What we can do is alert people to the fact that something might be happening in your place of business. So early detection has become a key, core DNA aspect of who we are and what we are. We've taken different patents and patent technologies on what we call digital deterrent. And that is today, with the ability of artificial intelligence, whether it's human, vehicle, license plate identification, like line crossing, all of these different advancements in, like analytics now lend it to us that if someone comes into a protected area, now I want to get notified. And who do I want to notify? And let's just take a school system. Within an educational and school system, what we've learned is now there are one point of entry. So between the hours for this example of 9 to 3, there's only one entry and one exit. Well, now we draw a digital perimeter around the other three sides of that building. In the event someone comes into that protected area, what occurs? The following things do occur, and you have multiple options. Number one, an audible message. Excuse me, you're not supposed to be here. But while that message is going off, it is also alerting maybe the school administrators or going right to a central station with NMX integration or directly into law enforcement. Well, in this particular case, it's a student walking in late. So it's an innocent situation. So the school administrator decides, let's not do anything to elevate that, concern. In the event it's a perpetrator or something else of concern, for instance, Johnny's parents are getting divorced and Johnny's father is not supposed to be here. We load Johnny's father's face into the facial recognition. He comes onto campus. We want to get notified. So these are all the different feature sets that today the advancements in security and the analytics are game changing. And our opportunities of now having it managed through what we call our cloud enabled services or our dashboard, it really lends itself for the integrators to not just provide a solution that is a witness. We want to provide an interactive solution that is designed to say something might be happening in your place of business.
Okay. Where would you say your cameras are being installed, and how has that kind of changed over the years? I imagine there was a time it started in retail or corporate or apartments and things like that. And you obviously mentioned schools. Is that changing in, the markets where the cameras are being used?
The markets have really changed. The vertical areas that we really do a fantastic job in, and we mentioned education, we talk about healthcare, we talk about houses of worship, and then some commercial as well as residential applications. So the days of, cameras being categorized for a specific area are no more. The importance of having these products and solutions. And another example, catalytic converters are a hot topic these days. We're now selling a lot of commercial air conditioning companies that have multiple vans that all of a sudden, well, we want to make sure that doesn't occur at their place of business. Well, how we do it, back to our patented technology of warning or under surveillance, we have another solution that takes an old siren box, we match it with an LED bright light, and when someone comes, for example, we leave our premises from 12 o'clock to 6 a.m. in the morning, just to, any kind of parameters that we want to choose. Someone comes into that protected area. I want this siren blaring and going, because what we learned from law enforcement, when the lights go on, the cockroaches run. In this particular case, what we want to do is not just have one, we want to have multiple units so that it lights up the area and everybody starts thinking twice about what they're doing. So the deterrent-based solutions is our core DNA, and making sure that we're not just a witness. We will be a fantastic witness, but the reality is we want to deter it from occurring. Don't do it somewhere else. Don't do it where our products are, on premises.
And where would you say we are on the growth curve in terms of video surveillance cameras and the market overall? Is it pretty saturated at this point, or are there plenty more places where you think there's cameras to be installed?
Well, first, like anything else, when a category becomes extremely important, it invites everybody into the marketplace. So there certainly are some very, very good competitors, that help service this marketplace. And there is always a level of saturation and competition that exists in all market areas. But the importance of surveillance continuing to grow, and as we start building out the categories and marketplaces, so expands, the opportunities that are out there. And in the past, apartment buildings, in commercial applications, residential applications, it continues to grow. What Ring successfully did for the doorbell, which is a story unto itself, because we had a patent a number of years ago called ResiCam, and the concept was don't open the door, answer it. We call that today Ring, but Speco had that in 1995, 1996. Just the advancements of technology. So the market continues to expand and continues to grow.
Okay. And have you ever been surprised by some of the applications that your integrators say we're going to use your camera in this spot and or in this type of an install?
Well, so one of the big areas of surprise was production facilities, like in manufacturing, to make sure, processes are in place. Like we have a line of cameras that hit different temperature thresholds, and they wanted it in freezers in a meat packing area, like again for, like not security as much as productivity. So, today I'm no longer surprised, like in dealing with law enforcement, like we're not allowed to share some of the things that they share with us, but whoa, it's it goes into every different thing, and they're an important factor today. And like with that being said, like and in dealing with law enforcement, Speco invented a technology called intensifiers, and the intensifiers were designed as extreme low light. We were able to identify color by day and color by extremely low light. I'm not supposed to do this because my son, if he's watching, will make fun of me. But all too often, like we always have in crime situations, like the IR and like cameras going. Did you see this guy? Like with the intensifier, we're able to identify he was wearing a white shirt, he was wearing a blue tie, or other like attributes that will help identify like the perpetrator. So law enforcement loves that because it's not just a black and white picture. Like, and in some cases, we even take thermal imaging with our intensifiers, like so that we pick up the heat, we identify. Now we're able to see color by day and color by extremely low light.
Okay. I've asked all the questions I have. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to make sure we talk about?
Well, the only other thing is tomorrow's technology. And tomorrow's technology is the ability to continue to monitor systems and make sure systems are operating online properly. Speco came out with what we call our dashboard. We utilize QR codes. The QR codes now simplify the ease of installation on any product. That same QR code now has the flexibility for a small fee to the dealer to be able to manage things remotely. By managing things remotely, it helps reduce truck rolls. So all too often, during crazy weather times that we're having now, and if I showed you outside how much snow is out there, sometimes you get blackouts. When cameras come back on, sometimes there might be a cycling issue and camera 7 and location 6 isn't operating. Well, all too often we find out too late that something happened and that camera wasn't working. Well, now with our dashboard, we have the ability to get immediate notification, like send an alert so that now the monitor of that system, Mr. Integrator / dealer, has the ability to proactively communicate with that customer and say, we're having a problem on camera 7 in location 6. I'm going to just remotely recycle everything, stand back and don't do a thing. So the days of truck rolls, and our business mantra is communicating the cost effectiveness of maintaining these dashboards and the less expense of normally you got to go out to somewhere 300 miles away just to recycle the system. In addition, the ability to activate or deactivate any of these artificial intelligence is a game changer. So if they want to create fee structures, they want to create all different other feature sets that get very analytical and granular as far as what are the needs and requirements of a particular issue, like is something going on that they want to start to identify, we have the ability to really shrink it down to exactly what needs to be done. So the industry as a whole is extremely exciting. It's a very rewarding aspect when we help reduce situations from occurring. And, like our approach is if we save a life or we save something, that's a badge of honor. So we're very excited about that.
All right. Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate you doing this.
Great. Well, we thank you so much and greatly appreciate and looking forward to working with you guys even further.
Thanks, Todd.